Hey everyone, this is Emma here, and welcome to another installment of the Enneagram with Emma, where today we are taking a deeper dive into the Enneagram Type 5. As in previous episodes, I'm going to share some of the signature themes of leading from Type 5, as well as the potential strengths and the watch-outs that we would typically see for those who lead from this type. And I say typically because we are more than our type. We have characteristics of all the 9 types within us to varying degrees, but one type tends to be our home base. So if you lead from type 5, you might resonate with all of these characteristics or just some. We would recommend that you just get curious and use these insights as a journey for greater self-awareness and discovery. So 5s are often called the investigator or the quiet specialist. And at their core, they're really striving to understand and to feel competent. 5s tend to be curious, rational, analytical, but they can also be detached. They can be emotionally reserved, and they can be cautious about how they're using their energy. The first signature theme or trait tends to be related to intellectual acumen. So 5s are deep thinkers, they have an insatiable thirst for knowledge, and they often become experts in their field, really able to go deep. That makes the sort of the quiet specialist title. They're able to articulate complex information clearly and concisely, and their drive to understand, coupled with their desire to feel competent, makes them highly knowledgeable and insightful. They tend to thrive on learning and observing, seeking new ways to grow and taking in new information and theories. And they tend to feel most at ease when they're doing those things. The watch out here is that this intellectual focus can lead to an over-reliance on thoughts and ideas and less connected to their emotions. So 5s will tend to compartmentalize or think their feelings rather than processing them in real time, which can come across as being cold or disconnected to others. 5s tend to be internally oriented and can retreat into their own minds when they're overwhelmed by too much stimulation or emotion, which can also hinder emotional connection and responsiveness to others. The second theme relates to analytical problem solving. 5s are natural problem solving. They love figuring things out. They have an impressive ability to quickly process vast amounts of information, collecting data, and then connecting these data points to form comprehensive insights and innovative solutions. They tend to be calm and objective, and this allows for well-reasoned evaluations and research, and they tend to be able to break down complex theories into simple, digestible parts. The watch out here is that the emphasis on information and data can cause them to neglect the emotional and relational aspects of leadership. 5s tend to be more comfortable managing ideas and systems rather than managing people and complex interpersonal dynamics, which can make them appear aloof. They can also continue to gather data and information beyond what's actually necessary, which can lead to analysis paralysis and a delay in making decisions. So while they can be effective at decision making, it tends to be the execution phase, which can be challenging because it often requires them to take risks and it requires them to expend energy that they might be trying to conserve. Next up is curiosity and innovation. So 5s are inherently curious, so they're always looking for new ways to do things. They're not afraid of exploring new territory. They're often fascinated by new technologies and research and theories. And from this, they're often able to bring forward new and innovative ideas and theories. And their forward thinking approach can lead to groundbreaking insights and developments. However, their focus on the future can sometimes cause them to disconnect or not be connected to the present moment. And this can also contribute to their perceived detachment or unemotional persona, as their minds are often occupied with what's possible, future possibilities, and abstract concepts. Lastly, self-sufficiency and autonomous. Fives are incredibly self-sufficient and independent. They don't require a lot of external support. They're often most productive actually when they're working alone. They're really good at being able to set and maintain clear boundaries, especially around their time, energy, and resources. And they tend to value and need alone time in order to decompress and recharge. The downside of this is a tendency to over isolate. So they may be less open to feedback or collaboration and can sometimes be seen as uncooperative. Fives also often prefer to observe from the periphery. So, for example, in a meeting, fives tend to prefer sitting at the back of the room in order to control their energy and to minimize demands. They're typically private, so they're less likely to share personal information. And it's going to take energy for them to speak up in meetings. They tend to need space and time in order to process and engage, and they can feel overwhelmed if they're rushed into interaction. So that's a high level overview of the strengths and the watch outs for the Type 5 leader. In our next episode, we'll explore the Type 6 leader, and then later I'm going to share some of the growth strategies and tactics for each of the types. If you'd like to learn more about the Enneagram, if you'd love to explore about your type, or if you'd like to bring this work to your team, you can visit my website at changeatplay.com. And you can also reach me directly at emma@changeatplay if you have any questions. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.